and we're going to have a short but hopefully action-packed session exploring the world of aromas.
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Me escucháis? Sí, buenas tardes a todos. Estamos esperando que viniera más gente, pero tenemos que empezar como ya tenemos muy poco tiempo y espero que tengamos una sesión muy interesante.
Okay, so Aroma Academy, just to tell you a little bit about Aroma Academy was formed maybe 10, 12 years ago by somebody called Dr. George Dodd, who is a leading perfumer and aroma scientist.
La Aroma Academy fue fundada hace 10 años por George Dodd, que es un maestro perfumero y también un científico de aromas.
He found that there was actually a gap in the training that people go through to train the nose, and that includes even sommeliers.
Y él se fijó mucho en la importancia de entrenar el sentido del olfato para las personas que trabajan en este ambiente.
What happens very often is that you smell your drink in your glass, and that drink is a complex creation, and when you smell it, you find it very difficult to go underneath the alcohol and smell the individual notes.
Lo que es importante en el momento en que saboreamos una ginebra, en este caso, es ir más en profundidad de todos los elementos que componen la bebida.
So what he did as a result of it was he created an aroma kit which basically gave you the building blocks, the individual notes to build your aroma profile of the drink that you're smelling. Okay.
Sí. Vale. Y lo que hizo en realidad fue construir un kit de aromas para que cada uno pudiese aprender los aromas individuales y luego construir una memoria y de ahí construir un perfil completo de aromas.
So instead of smelling something that is complex and complete and very difficult to break up, to deconstruct, we are showing you a way to very simply reconstruct.
Puesto que no se puede como deconstruir un aroma muy complejo, lo que vais a aprender hoy es como deconstruir todos los elementos y empezar de los elementos singles para luego llegar a la complejidad de la bebida.
Okay, so very little bit of biology here.
Un poquito de biología, espero muy poco.
Very, very important to understand why your sense of smell is so important to you.
Es muy importante comprender cómo se construye el sentido del olfato.
So if you look at this diagram, this is a section of the face showing the individual nerve endings that come down from the brain. So just about there, inside your skull,
justo encima de la nariz hay una prolongaciones nerviosas que salen de la nariz hacia el cerebro.
There are lots of little tiny holes like a nutmeg grater.
Sí, hay muchos como de esos agujeros muy pequeños que conectan la nariz con la parte del cerebro.
And through those holes, nerve endings from your brain hang down.
Y luego esas terminaciones nerviosas del cerebro proceden hasta la nariz.
These nerve endings are in the nose, at the top of the nose, and therefore what you smell instantly is messaged to the brain.
Entonces el mensaje que de la nariz llega enseguida a la parte del cerebro.
That is why you smell your food before you taste it.
Y esa es la razón por qué oléis la comida antes de probarla.
That is why you smell smoke that tells you there is danger.
Y la razón por qué se huele el humo, y esa es una señal de peligro.
And that is why you smell something that is awful and you know not to drink it or eat it.
Y eso también la razón, porque en el momento en que olemos algo muy desagradable, tenemos un rechazo.
Some of the masterclasses are much longer than this, and I have time to explore that particular aspect of it.
Y algunos de los talleres que normalmente doy son mucho más largos y tengo la oportunidad de explorar mucho más aspectos.
We do sensory events where we close your eyes so that you can't see, and then we go through a process of smelling and eating and touching.
Y tenemos durante esa masterclass la posibilidad de cerrar los ojos y tocar diferentes cosas.
And what's really interesting is after a session like that, people become more aware of how neglected your sense of smell is.
Y luego, al atender estas masterclass, la gente se da realmente cuenta de lo importante que es entrenar el sentido del olfato.
One of the things that I've lived all over the world,
Una de las cosas que suelo hacer,
and one of the things that I find very interesting,
y lo que encuentro muy interesante,
is that in the Western world,
es que en el mundo occidental, sobre todo,
we have cleaned everything. We've made everything antiseptic. We put perfumes everywhere. We make everything smell false.
tenemos esta tendencia de limpiarlo todo, de asegurarnos que todo sea limpio, sea perfectamente aséptico y todo muy limpio.
And for that reason, our noses have become less adventurous in their smell.
Y esa es la razón por la que nuestra nariz se ha acostumbrado, se ha vuelto como más perezosa.
The more that you smell a particular note, the more used to it you become.
Y cuanto más estamos acostumbrados a oler diferentes aromas, más nuestra nariz se vuelve más sensible.
So what we have here is a complete course in a box, 24 aromas that will train your nose step by step.
Y lo que tenemos presente en este kit son 24 aromas que os ayudarán a entrenar el sentido del olfato.
To do two things.
Y para hacer dos cosas.
One, to recognize a smell.
Uno, reconocer un particular olor, un particular aroma.
And two, to put a name to that smell, so to increase your vocabulary.
Y la segunda cosa, aprender a nombrar cada aroma y de esta manera mejorar nuestro vocabulario.
What that does is it links the nose to the brain and the brain to memory.
Y eso es porque la nariz está conectada al cerebro y el cerebro está conectado a la memoria.
So whenever you smell that smell, and it might be walking down the road,
Y entonces cada vez que nos puede ocurrir ir por la calle y percibir ciertos aromas,
in the most unlikely situation, you will suddenly remember that smell.
enseguida os vamos a recordar de ese aroma porque está guardado en nuestra memoria.
The psychology of smell is a massive subject.
La psicología de los aromas es un mundo espectacular y muy grande.
And both Dr. George Dodd and myself are very interested in the aromacology, the psychology of aroma.
Y el doctor George Dodd y yo estamos muy interesados en explorar estos aspectos de la psicología de los aromas.
We do a lot of work outside the drinks industry in more of a medical field where we work with people to establish some helpful steps to retrain a nose post head trauma.
Y hacemos muchos trabajos que, en el campo médico para ayudar a las personas a reentrenar el sentido del olfato después de haber padecido algunos traumas.
And one of our wishes is that one of these days we can train 1,000 noses all over the world using these standards.
Y lo que realmente es nuestro deseo es que llegara un día donde podemos entrenar muchísimas personas utilizando este kit de aromas.
In that way we will speak the same language.
Y en este modo podemos conseguir y hablar un mismo idioma.
It's really important because when you go along to a wine or whiskey or even a gin masterclass, they describe very, very flowery language.
Y es muy importante porque cada vez que tenéis la oportunidad de atender a una masterclass de gin, de vino, sería como hablar un mismo idioma abellecido de aromas floreales y tal.
I went to one class for interest, a wine class, and the lady was talking about a white wine, and I will give you the description and see what you think, how you would smell that wine.
Y participé en una masterclass de vino blanco, y ahora os voy a decir cómo la señora describió este vino.
She was describing the wine and she said, now I want you to close your eyes.
Y os voy a describir ahora este vino y quiero que cerréis los ojos.
And I want you to imagine that you're walking through a field of tall grass.
Y quiero que imagináis como si estuvieras andando en un campo muy grande.
It's a damp, slightly wet autumn day.
Es un día de otoño y es muy húmedo, hay mucha humedad.
And there are wild horses running through the field.
Y hay un montón de caballos salvajes que andan por este campo.
At this point, I'm smelling my white wine and thinking, I don't get any of those smells.
En este momento cojo la copa, huelo y digo, es que no lo pillo.
So when you go to a master class with somebody who has that flowery language,
y entonces, cada vez que tenéis la oportunidad de asistir a una masterclass con una persona que tiene este lenguaje tan floreal,
how on earth can you recognize what they're describing if they're using descriptors?
¿Cómo podéis realmente imaginar lo que está describiendo?
That you just don't even know what the smell is.
Si no sabéis cuál es realmente el olor.
The other really important thing that I'd like to talk about is geographical differences.
La otra cosa importante que quiero mencionar son las diferencias geográficas.
Some botanicals or some raw materials
y algunos botánicos y algunos ingredientes naturales
do not exist everywhere in the world.
No existen en la misma manera en todo el mundo.
So if you're not familiar with those particular ingredients or raw materials,
y si no estáis familiarizados con esos particulares ingredientes, esos particulares botánicos,
how on earth are you expected to know what's smelling in the drink?
¿Cómo podéis al final reconocer lo que está presente en vuestro vaso?
One way that you can learn is by using this methodology of training your nose, because we have aroma standards in this kit.
Y una manera de aprender a reconocer los varios aromas es utilizando este kit, donde intentamos meter unos standards de aromas para entrenar el olfato.
So when you refer to something as a rosy note, which we will be smelling a little bit later, you will have a note that is a standard for the smell rose.
Entonces seréis capaz de reconocer un aroma de rosa porque ya habéis probado y experimentado el estándar del aroma de rosa.
And therefore, once you've trained your nose, you will be able to immediately recognize rose as a note.
Y una vez que vuestra nariz esté entrenada, seréis capaz inmediatamente de reconocer las varias matices de aromas.
So before we start smelling,
y antes de que empecemos a oler los varios aromas,
I will say to you that each aroma is one example, just one example of all the many different divisions of that aroma.
Os quiero que sepáis que cada aroma presente en el kit es solo un ejemplo de las varias variedades que hay de cada aroma.
So in this gin kit, for example, we have wine and whiskey downstairs. You must come down to the stand afterwards and smell some other aromas.
Y también, por favor, si queréis, luego bajáis al stand y podéis ver muchas más cosas y experimentar muchos más aromas.
In the gin kit, for example, we have 4 different examples of juniper.
Por ejemplo, en este kit tenemos 4 diferentes ejemplos de ginebra, de bayas de nebrinas.
So juniper is essential to be present in gin.
El enebro es el ingrediente esencial de la ginebra.
Okay, but juniper has hundreds of different divisions. For example,
pero el enebro tiene muchas más variantes del mismo olor.
we have 4 here. We have a pine note,
Tenemos 4 variedades aquí, que son el pino,
we have a green note,
una nota verde,
we have a herbaceous juniper,
una nota de hierba, herbal,
and then finally we have a woody resinous, like resin from a tree.
y una nota madera.
And these are really important because when you're tasting any gins, there is a variation on the theme of the juniper note that they use.
Y eso es muy importante porque cada vez que probáis una nota de enebro, tenéis que tener en cuenta que hay muchas variantes de la misma nota.
The other thing to say about this particular kit is that George decided to use juniper as a backdrop for every one of these aromas. A backdrop, like juniper is included in every one,
Vale, el
but
enebro
behind, subtle.
está incluido en cada ejemplo de este kit como una base para cada aroma.
And the reason for that is a lot of aromas in gin are very, very subtle.
Y eso es porque el enebro está presente en todas las variantes
And it is sometimes difficult to recognize those gentle notes
y a veces es muy difícil detectar la nota precisa
underneath the juniper.
que está por detrás del enebro.
So we're going to have the opportunity of smelling some notes today that have juniper in the background, but the note and the essence is at the front. Because we, excuse me, because we have very little time, I'm not giving out individual strips. I'm going to give out strips and you will pass them down.
Como
okay?
tenemos muy poco tiempo, no voy a repartir todas las tiras, sino que vamos a empezar con la primera fila y luego sí podéis pasarlo por detrás.
Very important to explain why we use the strip.
Muy importante saber por qué utilizamos estas tiras,
Because it allows the aroma to evolve over a period of time.
porque permite que el aroma se desprenda durante mucho tiempo.
In a minute, yeah. Okay. So, what you do, make sure that your nose is clear.
Por favor, aseguraros que la nariz esté limpia.
If you find after 2 or 3 of these that your nose begins to get a little bit tired,
Y si notáis que después de haber olido 3 o 4 de estas tiras, la nariz empieza a cansarse,
smell your arm, providing you do not have perfume on it or body lotion for the ladies.
podéis intentar oler de vuestro brazo, pero tener en cuenta que no tenéis que llevar algún perfume.
Your skin is really important. It gives you a chance to come back to a base level. It clears your nose.
Y la piel, tener la piel limpia es muy importante para oler perfectamente las varias matices.
So when you have the strip, the people that have it to begin with, make sure that you allow the alcohol to burn off first.
Y cuando tengáis la tira, por favor aseguraros que el alcohol evapore moviendo la tira.
Then waft the strip towards your nose. Don't go straight up like this because
Y
you'll probably touch your nose.
moverla antes de ponerla cerca de la nariz.
So each person has a different nose. Each person has a different tolerance.
Cada persona tiene una nariz diferente y una tolerancia diferente.
So bring it up to where you think you are smelling the smell. Hold it there and do short, sharp smells, not that.
Y mantenerla a una cierta distancia y luego inspirar brevemente, no muy profundamente.
So, okay. The reason behind that is if you do a long smell, you tire out your nerve endings quickly.
Y porque si vais a hacer una respiración muy profunda, el cerebro se cansa.
If anybody has any questions, rather than leaving it to the end, ask the questions now. If there's something that you don't understand, ask now and we will...
Por favor, si tenéis algunas preguntas, podéis hacerla ahora y no esperar al final.
I don't have the luxury of an interpreter on the stand, so when you come down, we will be smelling, but you'll have to work with me not speaking Spanish.
Porque luego no tendréis la oportunidad de hablar español con ella. Pues
Okay.
Entonces aprovechad ahora.
The first person, if you have a pen, put a number at the bottom, not the side that's smelly. Put a number 1, number 2, number 3. Really important that you do this because when we bring the aroma profiles together and then smell your drink, we want to make sure that you're smelling the right ones together, okay? So I'm going to...
Por favor, poned un número en la tira.
So if you just give one, and then they can pass them around. So to each group. So this one is a classic juniper smell.
Ese es un olor clásico a enebro.
Okay. I don't think you're going to have enough. So what I'm going to suggest is that we pass these around, and for those people that don't have them, that you just pass them back. No? No, okay. Excuse me, can you just pass those? What I want to do is just have one, and then pass them down.
Sí, uno cada uno y luego si lo pasáis.
Excuse me. One, and they pass
Solo
them
uno
down
y luego
like
si
so.
lo...
Okay. So with this one, please just pass it round. This is a juniper note. This is really important. Can you get the juniper? Do you smell it?
¿Podéis oler el enebro?
Okay. So if I was to say to you that this is a green juniper note, can you smell the greenness of this one?
¿Y podéis detectar la nota verde de este
Okay.
ginebro?
What George did was, with the juniper, he put a little bit of a green note like grass to make it more green, to lift it more.
Claro, porque en esta muestra hay una nota verde de
Are those ones
hierba.
spare? Okay. Has everybody got one?
¿Todo tenemos uno?
Okay, anybody that doesn't have one, if you want to have one, that's fine. Okay, so we're now going to start looking at how important the sense of smell is. So this is your juniper note because we're talking about gins. Two things to say. 95% of everything that you taste, your flavor profile, comes from the sense of smell. Why is it that we don't concentrate our training on the nose rather than concentrating our training on the palate? Really important to realize that by training your nose, you're also increasing a sensitivity in your palate.
Y la cosa muy importante es que el 95% de las informaciones que recibimos de lo que saboreamos proviene del olfato. Entonces, de ahí que viene la importancia de entrenar la nariz a oler.
Right. So the next one's coming round. If they're excess, just put them to one side. The next one, I'm going to get you to tell me what your...
Y para el próximo, quiero que me digáis vosotros qué es, qué detectáis.
Okay, now really important also to say that as you let the aroma develop on the strip,
Y a medida de que dejáis que el aroma se desarrolle,
that you will find it evolves out of the alcohol
y lo dejáis que vuelva del alcohol,
and then you will smell the note as it should smell in the drink.
y en este punto vais a oler el aroma justo como lo olemos del vaso.
Okay, so has anybody got any ideas what the number 2 smells? Have you passed
¿Alguna
it?
idea?
Have you smelt it?
Menta.
Yeah. Has everybody smelt number 2?
Todos hemos probado el número 2.
Pass it,
No?
pass it. Okay. Everybody smelt it? Any ideas?
¿Alguna idea?
Citric. Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Hey guys. I think you need to come to my masterclass.
Que necesitáis ir a su
Okay.
masterclass.
Wood, that's getting better. So allow
Mejor.
it to evolve a
Mint.
little. What?
Mint?
No.
No.
I better smell it. No. Yeah. Okay. You're smelling the juniper note. This is interesting. See how difficult it is when you're smelling a gin to smell something that maybe is underneath that juniper note. So don't smell the juniper. Allow the juniper to evolve, and there should be a spicy note left on the strip.
Ahora podéis ver que la dificultad de oler lo que está detrás del enebro. Y dejáis que el enebro evapore.
No?
No.
Okay. That should have been nutmeg.
Era nuez moscada.
So go back to it and see if you smell nutmeg.
Intentáis otra vez detectar.
So number 3.
El número 3.
Can I ask to pour? Can you pour this one? Yeah. So the next one is also a spicy one, but I'm wondering whether, first of all, for those people who are making the first smell, make sure you spend a little bit of time with it, because the alcohol has to move off, the juniper has to move off.
Y tenéis cuidado que tiene que pasar un poco de tiempo para que el alcohol evapore y podéis detectar la nota precisa.
Okay, so anybody got any ideas for the third one?
¿Alguna idea para el número 3? ¿Rosa? ¿Rose? Is it rose? ¿Cinnamon?
Ah, yeah, well done.
Yeah, good.
Can you smell that? You smell the okay.
¿Puedes oler
All
con
right.
él?
Okay, so it's a sweet bark note, a woody note, a sweet bark.
Es una nota muy dulce.
Okay, so let's have number 4. And then what I'm going to get you to do is the person that has all 4 strips, in a minute will bring them together like this. So bring them together like so.
Y a la
Just
vez que
let's
tengáis-
smell number 4 first.
Vale, olemos el número 4 y luego.
This one is quite a difficult one for a lot of people.
Eso resulta muy difícil para detectar para muchas personas. Is it rose?
It's a flower, I can understand, but it's not the flower that we're thinking of. It's something else, it's not the flower.
Es una
But it
flor,
is
pero no la-
related to a flower, yes. So I don't want to confuse you. It is not a flower, but it is related. You have smelt the floral aspect of the note. Not rose.
No rose.
Everybody, it's interesting, everybody's picked up the floral nature of this particular note, but if you go back to smelling it, it's actually a root.
Que todo el mundo detecta muy fácilmente la nota floreal, pero no es una flor, sino que si volvéis a olerlo.
It's familiar.
Mora.
Yeah. This is, can I just say, thank you very much for saying that. This is a classic comment.
Es un comentario clásico.
This is so helpful to me because always people say that.
Y es muy
I know
útil.
that smell, I know it, but I cannot put the name.
Sé a qué huele, pero no le puedo dar un nombre.
Okay, so the last one, any suggestions? Because we need to move on.
¿Alguna idea?
Who? What?
Vanilla.
Vanilla, no.
Es like blueberry, raspberry.
No.
No.
Oh, okay. You're picking up the flowers. So if I tell you that that is...
No es una flor. No es una flor, sino que es
I can't see
una
if
raíz.
Wait. No, it's actually... no, it's actually orris. Orris root of the iris flower. Orris root of the iris. You know the blue iris flower that grows? Okay, so bring them together like this and waft them in front of you, and you'll need to pass those down. And then I want you to smell
Entonces,
your
los cuatro.
first gin. I haven't got the gin, so I can't smell it.
Juntamos los cuatro.
So what I'd like you to do is to waft the three together. Try not to make them mix up, but bring them closely together and waft them towards you so that you get
sino
the
ponerlos
aroma.
juntos y moverlos.
And then smell your drink.
Y luego olemos la copa.
And if you swirl the gin in the glass to release the aromas, maybe put one drop your finger like so, water, one drop of water, it opens the aromas of the gin. Okay. Oh, I shall be going. Right, okay. So, when you smell this, can you smell the...
En el momento en que oléis la copa, podéis detectar los
Can you
aromas.
smell the creaminess? No, you can't smell cream. Okay, you can smell orris.
Podéis detectar la raíz de orris.
Can you smell the orris in here?
Podéis detectar el orris, la raíz de orris.
Okay, put one drop of water into the glass and then swirl it around.
Echadle una gotita de agua
You
en
don't
la
need
copa.
more than one drop.
Solo una.
There's lots of citrus coming out. Okay, no, but there is absolutely. So this gentleman and you are absolutely classic. Orris is a very, it's an earthy smell, but it also comes from the iris flower. It's the root of the iris flower. Therefore, the note has a beautiful floral sweetness about it. But it also has, so some of you said vanilla. It has a sweetness, it has a balsamic smell as well. And I think this is what you're picking up. But if you've never smelt it before, this is why these are really good to use to train your nose, because especially if you're in the drinks industry or you're interested in a particular drink, this gives you the opportunity to smell it for the first time. If you get a chance to smell an iris flower, smell it, and then you will understand the connection between the root and the flower.
Así que si tenéis la oportunidad de oler la flor, así que vais a entender mejor el olor de la raíz.
So,
si nunca lo habéis
is
probado.
anybody picking up any of the spiciness?
¿Y podéis detectar las notas picantes de especias?
Has anybody tasted this gin before, brokers?
¿Alguien ha probado esta ginebra antes?
Okay, so I'm using this because normally I would use, Bombay Sapphire, Hendrix and Tanqueray as three examples of very, very different gins, but Bombay Sapphire isn't here, and neither is Tanqueray. So we're going to do the Brokers one, and we're going to go on to nose the Hendrix gin, because there you will give a classic example. This is a London dry gin, so a classic gin smell, and then we're going to smell something that has quite a different nose to it. Okay?
Que vamos a utilizar estas dos variantes de ginebra, Brokers and Hendrix.
So the second strip that you have, the first strip that you were given, which is the juniper note, needs to come out of that four now to start another lot.
La primera tira, que era la de enebro.
And we're now going to be smelling some aromas. And this should be easier for you.
Y eso va a ser más fácil.
Sorry. Thank you. So, for those of you who've smelt your brokers, definitely have a taste and see if you can pick up any of those notes. I'm just very, very quickly going to pass you the next 2 notes.
Vamos a pasar eso de manera muy rápida, como no tenemos más tiempo.
And this last one, I think you'll all recognize very, very easily.
Y este último, estoy segura de que podéis detectarlo de manera muy fácil.
Well, you should be able to recognize. The first one you should recognize easily. This last one that's coming should also recognize easily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rose is the first one. And this last one.
Primero era rosa.
This last one is.
Y el último.
An easy one as well.
Es uno muy fácil.
Let me just go. So you've got the rose. The one that I just gave you, the second one, was chamomile. Okay. And the last one is?
El último es pepino.
Cucumber.
Cucumber.
Okay. So we need to now, please, could you pour out, excuse me, can you pour out the Hendrix, please? Okay. Sorry, I wanted it poured at the very beginning. They didn't pour it, so excuse me. What I'd like to do is just say that this, hopefully this has given you an idea. What we do is we work with the aromas, we learn the individual notes, we bring them together, we smell them with the drink, and that's how we do our masterclasses.
La idea, como tenemos muy poco tiempo, es lo que hacemos es aprender de forma individual cada aroma y luego juntarlos para que se graben en la memoria y luego aprender a detectarlo en la copa.
Okay. We are doing masterclasses in Spain very soon. They will be short 2-hour sessions, and then we will do a 1-day category specific.
Y vamos a tener un taller en Barcelona, correct?
Yeah, in Barcelona.
En Barcelona de un día entero.
There'll be a 2-hour session and a 1-day session.
Y vamos a tener 2 sesiones y un día y el otro día una sesión.
And if anybody is interested, please come and let me have your details on the stand.
Y si alguien está interesado, por favor, que deje el contacto a Kim.
So I'm sorry this has been very, very rushed, but 45 minutes is not enough really to open the world of aromas. But I hope you've had a little bit of an insight. For those of you who have the Hendrix now, smell your strips and smell the Hendrix and see the two coming together. That one is a much better example of the strips and the drink.
Y ese segundo ejemplo con el Hendrix, un ejemplo más evidente.
With all of these things, it's very, very subjective.
Y como todas esas cosas son muy subjetivas.
It's always very difficult if somebody hasn't smelt something before for them to be able to recognize it, as you can see.
Es muy difícil detectar un aroma que nunca hemos olido antes.
So I'd just like to thank you all very much for coming along. Hope you've enjoyed your session, as brief as it was, and look forward hopefully to seeing you next year or maybe at one of our masterclasses.
Y quiero daros la gracia por venir y espero veros el año que viene o en una de la masterclass.
Thank you.